City.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. Shout out to everyone who support the platform. Much love, much love, much love. If y'all can hear me, please drop your ones in the chat. Please drop your ones in the chat. If you are here, you can hear me clearly. Please drop your ones in the chat so we can get right into the show. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if y'all can hear me out there, y'all, so we can get into today's show. Okay, I got a couple of ones. I see you. I see them. Let me get two more ones, y'all. Let me get two more ones. Shout out to everyone that's coming through. Shout out to everyone that's coming through. Let me get two more ones, y'all. Get two more ones. Okay. Shout out to everyone in the building. Shout out to everyone in the building. I appreciate y'all. Salute to y'all. And of course, we are back right here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. I'm y'all host, DS1 Ross. Of course, I appreciate all the love and the support. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Salute to all the visionaries. Shout out to my lovely lady mods that always come through and hold it down. Man, we got to talk about this today. We have to talk about this today. I think this is a serious topic that us men really need to have, man. You know, I understand that it's a celebrity involved, but a lot of us are familiar with this stuff, and we need to talk about it. So salute to y'all. Let's see who's in the building. I'm gonna shout everyone out, and then we're gonna get to the show. But make sure y'all support the show. Y'all hit the like button, hit the share button, hit that like button, hit that share button, share today's show, share it on y'all community tabs, share it on y'all Discord servers, share it on your Facebooks, your Instagrams, anywhere that you share content, share today's show. Shout out to City Boy Floyd in the building. He says, salute, pray for those who have an addiction. Absolutely. Shout out to you, bro. Hey, Miss Pam, how you doing? Shout out to Miss Pam in the building. Salute to the Nile River. Hey, Miss Jasmine, how you doing? What's going on with you, Jasmine? Good to see you. Shout out to Miss Classy Creole in the building. One of my lovely lady moms that always come through and hold it down. Thank you so much, Miss Classy Creole. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Shout out to my man JD 1975 in the building. Salute, JD. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute, salute, salute. Shout out to my brother Dale Diddy, man. He says pill addiction is serious. I stopped taking a particular seizure medicine because of the side effects and went through withdrawals that could have caused serious harm because I did it cold turkey. Wow. Man, shout out to you, my brother. Salute, man. Salute for sharing that with us, bro. Salute. Let's see who else is in the building. Shout out to AC. What up, AC? Salute. Red DiBiase. What's good, Red DiBiase? What's good? Shout out to my man Bucket in the building. What's good, Bucket? Salute, fam. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Y'all see today's show. Y'all see today's show, man. Rich Homie Quan dead at 34 years old from allegedly a pill overdose. Allegedly over a pill overdose. And I think this is the perfect time for us men to begin to discuss addiction, what it is for men to be addicted to something. We was just growing up and living what we thought was life. What up, cuzzo? Shout out to Jeff Reviews in the building. Salute. Hey, Miss L'Oreal. Shout out to Miss L'Oreal in the building. Another one of my lovely lady moms that always come through and hold it down. Thank you so much, Miss L'Oreal. We are 2 for 2 today. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. You know. Hey, Cynical. What's going on? Shout out to the Cynical one. And I think that as men, we need to start paying attention to not just what's going on with us, but the outcomes, and start trying to understand or grasp or understanding what's going on today with us men. Because a couple of guys just died recently from overdoses. We could say, like, in the past 3 to 5 years, a lot of black men that died in the industry in the past 3 to 5 years, a lot of them died from drug overdoses. A lot of them. What up, Cartel? Shout out to Cartel in the building. Salute. Right? But I think since we have gotten so desensitized to death, we don't pay attention to how much of our people is dying from this stuff. And as men, we really need to begin to understand the science behind addiction. What causes addiction? Because, see, a lot of us grew up, right, just thinking that this is what it was to be a man. I grew up in an environment where drinking beer was something that a man does. Drinking liquor is something that men do. This is what I grew up seeing and understanding. Drinking was not taboo. Drinking was not something that was wrong. I knew it was wrong because I was a child. But in my environment, drugs and alcohol was acceptable. You see? Even though I was told not to touch it, not to be around it, but it was still in my environment. So I saw people using it. You see? Growing up as a young boy, we see the cool guys, especially back in the 90s, with the 40 ounces with the paper bag wrapped around it. And they all outside talking and laughing and guzzling the 40 ounce. You see? So alcohol and drugs in the black community was a part of a celebration. You see? You drink and get high to celebrate life. We celebrating life. This is what I thought as a child growing up. Because every time the reefer was getting lit up, every time beers and liquor was being passed around, it was music being played. Then you see people getting up dancing. So as a kid, you thinking that partying, drugs and partying they're synonymous because you grew up seeing this. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Shout out to Champ in the building. Salute to Elisino. Salute, OG. I appreciate you, man. Salute. You know, growing up in the hood, you know, once they get to drinking, once they get to smoking, then they get to what? Dancing. Then they get to what? Playing cards, gambling. So as a kid, I thought that that's just what men do. Men drink. Men drink. Men gonna have them a beer. Some of us grew up watching our dads drink beer and watch sports. That's a common thing, to have a beer while watching a football game. You're going to have a beer when the NBA on, when the playoffs is on. Y'all need a 6-pack. Y'all need a 12-pack. I grew up seeing this. And a lot of us have. A lot of us have. It wasn't taboo. You know, it wasn't hidden from us. But we were told, because we were children, that we couldn't touch it. Right. It was a family function. Exactly. Exactly. So, Cynical says some people have addictive personalities. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bucket says, me too, DS1, it was the norm. Facts. Yeah. A lot of us guys grew up like that. We grew up around it. The women too. The women too. It was common to walk into the house and people drinking beer, people drinking liquor, people smoking cigarettes, people smoking weed. Some of us grew up where it was normal to see people smoking crack. I grew up seeing people as a little boy smoking crack in the hallway where I lived. Yeah. Back in the 90s, my block was a notorious known crack block. So me and my friends, we grew up playing in crack valves. It was the norm. We used to throw them at each other. Crack valves. So we didn't know that just being exposed to this stuff was wrong. We wasn't even supposed to be exposed to none of this shit. We were kids playing in crack valves. Little kids. Because there was so much crack being sold on my block. I remember, and y'all gonna laugh at this, right? Hey, Letitia, how you doing? Shout out to Letitia in the building. Cartel says, anything that is too much of is not good for you. Balance is the key to life. Exactly. But we have to learn that. we have to learn that usually, right, Cartel? Life has to teach us that. We're not taught that. A lot of us are not taught that in our households. A lot of that is not taught in our families, you know? Shout out to my brother Third Ward in the building. Salute, family. I appreciate that. He said, I've only smoked weed and drank liquor occasionally. I never did any other drugs. I was always scared to pop pills. Pills nowadays are mixed with BS. Facts. They always have been. They always have been. Except now, the pills that they're being pressed up, they're not real pills. They're actually being pressed. They have pressing machines. They could put their own stamps on them and everything. So they pressing up their own pills. See, back in the day, let me tell y'all my story first, to show y'all how addiction starts, right? Because it starts with your environment. First, it starts with your family, which is your environment too, your household. Then it's your neighborhood, where you grew up at. All of that's your environment, right? So I just told y'all I grew up on a notorious crack block that made a lot of money. So growing up, I saw walking outside, all we did was smell weed. It was so much weed being smoked in the air. It was just in the air. You just see weed clouds because dudes was making money. See? And the dudes smoking all the good weed got the dirt bikes. They coming through with the four-wheelers. They coming through with the LS 400s back in the day. The GSs with the bubble eyes back in the day. You know, back in the day, niggas was driving them Infinities. Remember those back in the day? Yeah, I remember all of those. Those was the fly cars that the hustlers was driving, the Pathfinders with the system in it. Y'all remember the Pathfinders? Yeah. See? So on my block, we had it was like an empty car lot that was attached to one of the buildings where people used to park their cars at, right? People used to park their cars. So what happened was, over time, they stopped letting people park there. They only let the people who work maintenance of that building park in that parking lot. So what we did, we turned that little area into a basketball court. And we used to put hoops up, rims. We started with crates. It started with crates. We used to play basketball and shoot it in the crates. We used to get the crates, knock the bottom, cut the bottom part. We used to burn the bottom part out till it melt. And then we used to have the older guys nail it up for us. And we used to have a court in the hood. We had our own court, right? We had our own tournaments and everything. We called them the pit tournaments because that's what we called where we played ball at. We called it the pit, right? So, yo, just think about this. It's hilarious because it shows just how much your environment teaches you without you even knowing, right? Bucket says, man, DS1, I remember the milk crate games. Bro, remember that? Remember before the crate, we used to shoot in the garbage can. But we got tired of shooting in the garbage can because whenever you make a shot, somebody got to go get the ball out the garbage can. Remember that, Bucket? So that's why we start shooting in the crate. You know the progress. Cartel says, I remember those times. The progress in the hood. We started in the garbage cans. So the older guys, right, since they put the court up for us in the pit, we started having tournaments. The older guys had their own teams. They would pick out of the younger guys who gonna be on their team. And we had pick tournaments. The good old days, exactly. The good old days, right? And I remember after every game that me and my team had, guess what we used to do, y'all? Just guess what we used to do. After every game. And at this time, we like 10, 11. 10, 11 maybe. Probably a little younger than that. Probably a little younger than that. Facts. Facts. Facts, cuzzo. Self University in the building. Salute, fam. He says football side bust back in the day. Yup. We used to play football too. But what we used to do after every game, right? We used to go and act like the older guys. Because after the older guys used to play in the pit, they used to go and smoke weed. We ain't know nothing about no weed. We couldn't go buy no weed. See, this is back in the time where when you was a kid, no matter if you was outside or not, it was certain, you couldn't do certain shit. Even if you was a bad kid, it was certain shit you just could not do. Like how these kids could do now. Like back in my day, wasn't no older dude selling you no weed. We don't care how much money you got. We're not selling you no drugs. You a kid. I know your mother. I know your father. I'm not selling you nothing. Get out of here. So we couldn't go to the older guys with our little $5 and get a little nick. We couldn't do that. We couldn't do that. We couldn't go to no older dudes to go to no older dudes to buy no drugs for us. That wasn't happening. That was not happening. That was not happening. That was a no-no. Because the hustlers had respect for the civilians on the block. The hustlers was like, nah, Duke, I'm not giving you no weed so your moms could come out here and curse me out. Better get out of here, little homie. Your moms ain't gonna be cursing me out. Your moms ain't gonna be coming out here trying to fight me because you coming in the house high. That's what they used to tell us, bro. We couldn't run at them and get no gun because they wasn't giving it to us. These are facts. They wasn't giving us no gun. You want what? What happened to y'all? What y'all need that for? Oh, nah, they fronting on us down the block and oh, word? Well, I don't know what to tell y'all niggas. I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all ain't getting nothing from over here. So y'all could go crash out. So we wanted to be like the older guys, but we couldn't do what they was doing. So what we do, we copycat it. Thank you, Letitia. I appreciate you. Shout out to Miss Letitia. Appreciate that super chat. Much love to you. JD says you bringing back memories. Need to be playing Wu-Tang Clan. Can it be that it was all? Man, that's classic. That's classic. That's classic. Yeah, it wasn't happening, Shots. Shout out to my man DMW Shots in the building. It wasn't happening, Shots. Absolutely. It was not happening. So what we used to do, Shots, because we couldn't go get no real weed, right? We used to go in the back. We used to go in the backyard. First, we used to go to the corner store and asked Ock for paper bags. Remember this when they still had paper bags. We used to go get like 4 paper bags, right? Y'all gonna laugh, but this is the proof of how these addictions start, how this stuff happens, how it just grows over time, right? We'll go get the paper bags and then go in the back. We used to go in the back of the pit, right? Where all the trees and all that is at, right? And we used to take the leaves off the tree and break up the leaves like it was weed. We used to break up real leaves off the tree like it was weed. And put it in a paper bag and act like we smoking a blunt and pass it around. All of us smoke, like hit it twice, like we smoking weed. We did that after every basketball tournament, after every game in the pit. We was smoking leaves, y'all. And we thought we was high because all of us had a goddamn headache. We thought we was high. We thought we was high because we was dizzy. Yo, why is spinning like that? We thinking we high. AC, we thought we was high. We was dizzy. We was about to pass out. We didn't know you're not supposed to smoke the leaves off the tree. But that's what we thought weed was back in the day. That's what we thought weed was. Because remember, back in the 90s, the older guys used to call weed trees. See, when you grew up around parents that used to smoke weed, they didn't call it weed. They call it trees. So when they talking to the weed man, they like, yeah, let me get a bag of those trees. So you don't know. I didn't know what my dad used to be saying. I didn't know. So when he said trees, we really thought that they were smoking leaves off a tree because we was smoking that shit. We really was. L'Oreal says that's crazy. But we was doing it. We was doing it. We was. Because what we saw, because we saw that smoking weed was acceptable. It was actually something that was done by the cool crowd. You see? That was something that was done by the cool crowd. That's what we thought. You see? And the reason why I'm having this discussion and I'm going back into things, because I want to use myself as an example. You see, we're not just going to point out Rich Homie Quan's addiction because we don't know how bad it was, but it was bad. He talked about it. He talked about it. He talked about it in his Math Hoffa interview. And I would play that, but Math likes to flag. Math Hoffa likes to flag people, so I'm not going to use his content. But Rich Homie Quan went into his struggle with addiction, his addiction to Molly, his addiction to Perks. And what he said on that Math Hoffa interview, and y'all could go check it out. Shout out to Math. I ain't got no problems with Math. You can go and check it out. He dropped the video from my expert opinion. Go and check it out on the Math Hoffa channel, where Rich Homie Quan spoke about his drug addiction really developed because of his talent, because of the industry, and how much the industry was using him for his talent. He spoke on how the drugs made him a better artist. The drugs made him a better musician, but it was destroying him as a person. He was talking about how he could knock out songs, he could stay up all night. They introduced it to him. He said because he kept falling asleep in studio sessions. He couldn't do those 1, 2, 3.5 days in the studio and get an album done until he got introduced to that Molly. Till he got introduced to that Molly. And guess who introduced him to Molly? A family member. So this goes back to what I was just saying. Your environment. A family member introduced him to Molly. And he said when he started taking Molly, you know his favorite song that y'all like from him, from Rich Homie? Make you feel some type of way. Some type of way. Make you feel some type of way. That's Molly. That's Molly. Did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. Came from top to bottom to the top, my lifestyle. That's Molly. That's Molly. That's drugs. How you think Thug now to make his, that's drugs. Them boys was on drugs. Why you think Thug looked the way he looked now? Because he's sober. He's clean. It looked like Thug gained weight. Because he stopped using drugs. That's drugs. Them boys on drugs. And Rich Homie talked about this. When he started taking Molly, GQ, shout out to my man GQ. When he started taking Molly, GQ, he said that his talent went through the roof. He said the Molly made him a better artist. He ain't had to write shit no more, GQ. Shit was just coming to him. The Molly just had the songs coming to him. That's how him and Thug made all that money for Birdman. Remember, Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug was a group. This is what kicked off the whole YSL shit. It was him and Quan. Birdman. Rich Gang. Rich Gang. Who you think was writing all them songs with Thug? Rich Homie. That's who was doing all the songs with him. Who you think made all the melody? That was Rich Homie Quan. Off that Molly. Off that Molly. You got the best music off Molly. Off Molly. And I know y'all probably like, damn. Off Molly. He admitted it. It's in the Math Hoffa interview. Shout out to Letitia for doubling up. She says, how much degrees is my uncle and them used to get used to get weed in a manila folder when I was a kid? Oh, yep. My dad used to get that too. Yep. Yep. It was smoking that Sesamilia. Shout out to my brother Papa Flocka in the building. They was smoking that Sesamilia, Aquafina. That was that Cess. My dad told me about that Sesamilia. And they was smoking that Acapulco Gold. That used to come in them little envelopes, the little tall manila envelopes. That Sesamilia. My pops told me about all that shit. That's one thing. My dad never hid shit from me. He didn't. He told me all the drugs he did. Because my dad just didn't smoke weed. My dad did all the drugs except heroin. My dad did all the drugs except heroin. My dad did acid back in the day, blotter, what's the shit? Quaaludes, the shit that Bill Cosby was spiking women drinks, Quaaludes. My dad, dust, that, all that shit back in the day. Only thing my pops told me he never fucked with was meth and heroin. Meth and heroin. Meth and heroin. Because back then, if you was doing meth, crystal meth, or heroin, you were really considered a fiend, a junkie. Because you had rich dudes smoking crack back in the day. You had the whole Wu-Tang smoking crack and weed. See? So it was cool back in the day to smoke a little crack. But if you was on dope, if you was on heroin, or if you was on meth, you a junkie. That's when you called the junkie. Because even the big time coke dealers used to sniff coke. Because you got to test your shit. I hope y'all know that. Well, let me not say that because whatever. But I said it already. So you know, if you was ever in the game, you can't say that you never sniffed coke. Because how you knew what you had? See, I'm not talking about, you know, just a little something to play with. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. You're going to have to do this. Somebody tell me I'm lying. I ain't going to get up here and lie. I didn't have a coke addiction. But I tested cocaine before. I had to. I had to do it. It's part of the game. Had to make. Come on now. And my business partner at the time, that's what he told me, Bucket. He said, "Did your tongue numb up?" See? Look, AC said it for me. My partner was like, "Is your tongue feeling numb? Is it tingling? Because if it ain't doing neither one, we taking this shit back." That's what he told me. If your tongue is not numb or at least tingling, we taking this shit back. So what's going on? What's going on? You know? What up, Kush? True game. Got to hit the speed bump. What's up, NICU grad? How you doing? Afternoon, everyone. Molly is a stimulant in the same drug family as Adderall or Ritalin. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that, NICU grad. Thank you for blessing us with that information. I didn't even know that. Yeah, the freeze. The freeze. Yeah, absolutely, Queena. Shout out to Miss Queena in the building. We 3 for 3 today on the lovely lady Maz. Shout out to you, Miss Queen. I appreciate you, as always. But I didn't know that, NICU grad. I did not know that. But I said that to say that as men, a lot of times we can't, when we become addicted to something, We don't know how we became addicted, when it started, the feeling. We don't pay attention enough. And we don't pay attention because our environment, right, helps us block it out. You see? Your environment and the people around you who has normalized this behavior, right? They not telling you what you're doing is wrong because they doing it too. So a lot of times you don't even know when you became addicted. You probably remember the first time you was high, but you didn't know that you were going to get addicted. Like Cynical said earlier, some people have addictive personalities. A lot of us don't know that. A lot of us don't know that we are addicted to certain things. We don't know. And this is scientific stuff. It's all science. It all has to do with the psyche, the brain, and chemicals. A lot of us are addicted to certain chemicals. We don't even know that though. Because this stuff could be passed down through genes. You see, you might be part of a family that has a genetic code with a bunch of addictions. You could come from a family full of addicts and don't know. And it doesn't have to be the family you directly came from. This could be your ancestors. You could have came from some getting high niggas. You trace your family back and find out your goddamn family was smoking ayahuasca. We don't know this stuff, and we don't take time to figure it out either. We don't take time to figure it out. You see, we don't know we have addictive personalities because we don't know what our families are addicted to and why. And why? We don't know. Your addiction to sugar, shout out to AC for saying that earlier in the chat, your addiction to sugar could turn into a cocaine habit. Did you know that? Look it up. It's science. It's science. It's scientific. A person with a sugar addiction and a person with a cocaine habit, it's the same thing. It looks the same exact way. Look it up. I'm going to give you an example. Lamar Odom. What did Lamar Odom get caught doing? Smoking crack. What is crack? Hooked coke. Right? Right? He has a crack addiction. He's addicted to cocaine. Do y'all know that Lamar Odom, during his whole NBA career, he was addicted to candy? Look it up. I saw it back in the day. Lamar Odom, when they used to have away games, when he come back to his hotel, they used to have stocks, drawers full of Swedish fish, Sour Patch. This man was addicted to candy. He would eat candy before the game. Crybabies. Candy, not chocolate. Nerds. Laffy Taffies. Thank you. Thank you, AC. Big bags of them. Like you go to Family Dollar and you want to give out candy for trick-or-treating. He used to have those bags of candy in his hotel rooms after the game. And he will literally sit up all night and eat candy. This is how, now you see why he can't stop smoking crack. This is why we got to have this discussion. See, it's bigger than just, and rest in peace to rich homie Quan. But we need to talk about how these addictions are developed and how we don't even pay attention to it as men. We don't pay attention to it. Big bags of candy, Halloween bags, the ones that's like this. You know the big Halloween bags of candy? That's just assorted candies. He used to have big bags of Sour Patch, like this, the watermelon patch, big bags. Like, damn, where he get those from? Big bags of Laffy Taffies, big bags of Swedish Fish, sweet tarts, all types of sweet candy that'll give you cavities. Not chocolate, Skittles, Jolly Ranchers. He had a sugar addiction. Yeah, Lamar Odom. Yeah, L'Oreal, Lamar Odom. Yup, them giant bags of candy. Yup, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Miss Letitia, for being a member for 18 months. She said, I used to do Molly and X. It made me such a better thinker. I don't know why. But I haven't popped it in almost 6 months. That's great. Y'all all give Letitia a round of applause for this. She's been sober for 6 months off Molly and ecstasy. Look what she said. She said it makes her a better thinker. That's scary. Pay attention to this, fellas. Remember, I just told y'all Rich Homie Quan said he wrote all his hit songs off Molly. All that music that we love from Rich Homie was off Molly. And now we have a woman in here saying that it made her think better. I don't know what to say about that. Honestly, I don't, because I've never been addicted to Molly or ecstasy. I haven't. That's right. Keep it up. Keep it up. That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. Absolutely. Shout out to my man D's in the building. D said them G ladies had me thinking fast too. It's over for that. Them G ladies was. I remember my mans was on them G ladies heavy. Them G ladies and them blue dolphins. Remember them blue dolphins, D's? That shit had my homie going. He was, boy. That boy thought he was Superman. Off them blue dolphins, that boy thought he was Superman. He thought he was Superman, D's. That he turned into Super Crip. Hey, D's, this nigga pop a half a blue dolphin, he turned into Super Crip. You better not walk past him if you blood. He turns into Super Crip. He's immortal. He gonna beat everybody up. If somebody front, he gonna kill everybody. He turns into Super Crip. Like this nigga just, you can't do nothing with him. He like he got metal, he's made of metal. And he really moves like that. Straight up. Nobody's gonna do nothing. Nobody's gonna say nothing. I said, this nigga is them blue dolphins. Them blue dolphins, man. Them blue dolphins. Triple stacks. They all was triple stacks, Red DiBiase. All of them was triple stacks. All of them was triple stacks. He was nuts. He was nuts, Joe Blast. Salute, fam. He was crazy, bro. Off them blue dolphins. Them G ladies. See, the G ladies had our older homies. Our older homies was popping the G ladies. Our generation had the blue dolphins. The blue dolphins. Those boys. Man, oh man. Talk about it, D's. Talk about it. Talk about it. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I popped half of X before. I popped half of an X pill before, and I never did it again. I never did it again. D said them red Pumas too. I popped half, and I never did it again. Real talk. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't like a high that I can't control. Let me repeat that. I don't like a high that I can't control. When I decided to mess with that ecstasy, that shit had my mind in places I don't never want it to go again. I'm telling you. I see why my homeboy thought he was Superman. That shit make you walk around like you standing on top of the earth. Like you walking around and you just like, you feel good. You like, you feel extra strong. Like it magnifies any feeling that you have. It magnifies it. It magnifies it. That's why Rich Homie said he was able to write all them hits like that. That's why Rich Homie said that. That's why he said that. That's why Rich Homie said that. I believe him. I believe him. I believe him. Joe Blast says, what's a good lady and a blue dolphin? Oh, those are the stamps that was on the ecstasy pills, Joe Blast. So instead of us calling it an ecstasy pill, we will call it by its name. You know, like how heroin will have a stamp. You know how heroin will have a stamp. You know, this that Superman dope. This, you know what I'm saying? That's how the pills are. The pills are the same way. So when you hit your mans up, you just be like, yo, let me get whatever blue dolphins. Let me get whatever G ladies. Let me get whatever Mickey Mouses. You know what I'm saying? Aquafina says, I moved to Washington State and they had gummy Molly. Man. What up, Black Man in Bizarre War? He says, I popped a Tesla pill and took off. AC says, I ain't popping ish if Doc don't prescribe, and even those are scary. Exactly. Because let's get into that, AC. A lot of the guys, a lot of the rappers from Philly, I watch a lot of their interviews because in their interviews, they speak about their drug addictions. A lot of the rappers from Philly had a pill addiction, the majority of them. Even Meek. Remember, Meek had a perk addiction. But Meek started popping perks when he got shot. A lot of your rappers in Philly who become addicted to perks and Xans and all of that is because they got shot. When you get shot, they give you Percocets. And just in case y'all don't know, right, fellas, this is why y'all need to stay away from these pills. There's no such thing as a Perk 30. Okay? Perk 30, I just popped a Perk 30. Perk 30, I just popped a Perk 30. There's no Perk 30, sir. I hope y'all know that. In the medicine world, Percocets does not go up to 30 milligrams. The highest it goes is 10. That's all the doctor or the hospital is going to give you. You don't get Perk 30s. No. Y'all are dope addicts. Y'all are dope fiends. I just want to let you brothers know this. You're a dope fiend. Those pills are pressed up. There's no Perk 30. No doctor can give you a Perk 30. No doctor. No doctor. You can't go to no doctor and get a prescription for Percocet 30s. So am I, AC. So am I. I'm on anxiety meds as well. I take an anxiety pill for sleep. Yep. It's called amitriptyline. 25 milligrams. Amitriptyline. So am I, AC. Aquafina said, when I used to pop them a lot, I used to pop them when I had to do a double and triple shifts at my job. Real talk. So it kept you up. It kept you up. That's what Rich Homie said. Rich Homie said it would keep him up. D said, you need something to chew on because the teeth be grinding for real. That's why you always see dudes chewing on straws. You ever see a dude chewing on a straw? He biting down. He on that Molly. Oh, I never heard of that. 5 milligrams? That must be some strong shit, bro. That must be stronger than my amitriptyline. Yeah. You know about them straws, bro? You know about them straws? You know about them straws on the side of a nigga jaw? He like this. Yeah, son. Yeah, son. I don't know, though. We're going to get a bottle later, though. We're going to get a bottle. Word. Then he spit it out. Put it back in his mouth. Keep chewing it. Yeah. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's really not funny. But when you around it, when you in it, it's just like, all right, my man high today. You know, my man on his designer shit today. You know? Because you got some guys, that's just they vibe. They vibe is pills. They vibes is ecstasy. That's they vibe. You know, it's dudes on the Ave that be outside on all types of stuff. You got dudes that be on the block hustling. They be on all types of shit. You don't know. Because you don't know dudes' addictions. You don't know. So when you around it, it's like, oh, all right, boy, bugging today. I'm going to stay away from him. I don't know what he done lit up in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? That's how we look at it. It doesn't be a problem, or we don't look at it as something detrimental. We don't look at it like that. And that's sad. That's sad. That's sad that it took so many years for us to realize what addiction has done to us. How it has created a level of acceptance in us devaluing ourselves. Because we made getting high cool. We always looked at getting high as cool. You know, a lot of us ain't been sober in 30 years, man. A lot of us haven't been sober for 30 years. Some of us don't know what it is to wake up for the past 30 years and not smoke a cigarette. And I'm talking about men. We don't know what it is to wake up for the past 30 years and need that wake up blunt. Need that wake up hit. I think it's called the wake up. That's what the fiends call it. They come through the block early. Hey, man, I need that wake up. I only got $8. That's when they could come with $7. And I need that wake up. I need that wake up. Listen to that. I need that wake up. Listen to that. And think about it. Right. Wake and bake. Right. Think like it sound cool when you in the vibe, but when you sitting down thinking and you sober, I need a wake up. You do. You need a wake up call. That's what we do. We do need a wake up call. Why would you want to wake and bake your brain? What's going on? And I'm guilty of it. I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. But brothers, we got to leave them pills alone, man. We got to get off these drugs, man. We got to get off these drugs, bro. I'm talking about these hard drugs, man. We got to get away from this stuff, bro. It's killing us rapidly. Shout out to my brother, the underrated darkness in the building. Salute, my brother. Wake and bake like a mug, bro. We do it every day, shots. We do it every day, man. But when we start putting some sense to this stuff and trying to figure out why, it's like we get this revelation about ourselves. What made me addicted to this shit? Why am I so addicted to it? Do you know a lot of us will get off drugs if we left our neighborhoods? That's when I stopped selling drugs. When I left my block. And I decided to leave it. To leave my neighborhood. Because of what my neighborhood is infested with. And what it always has been infested with. I had to leave that environment to starve myself of the things that I was attracted to that wasn't good for me. See, because in certain neighborhoods, man, on a block like mine, you ain't got no choice but to hustle. Why you outside, nigga? What you out here for? Because that's what the older dude's gonna ask you after a while. Yo, why you keep hanging out with us? Why you keep lingering around with us? What you want to pack? Here. That's the nature of my block. If you outside, you doing something. Yeah. Or you standing with your homeboy watching for the police because your homeboy doing something. You ain't just hanging out. It's not really cool to just hang out on my block. It's just not. And you become, Jay-Z said it in the song, you become addicted, sort of like the fiends you accustomed to serving. You become addicted to coming outside and doing this shit every day. You get used to having drugs on you. You get used to looking out for the police all the time. You get used to it. You become addicted to it. You develop ways and schemes to basically survive in that shit. And it's an addiction. It becomes an addiction. Hustling becomes selling the drug becomes an addiction. Where I'm from. It becomes an addiction. I had to leave and go to an environment where nobody know me. And I had to learn how to make it. So guess what that meant? Go get a job, nigga. Now it's time for you to create a new plan for yourself. Because this environment, you ain't used to. You see, you need a different plan. You need a different plan. And that's when your mind starts thinking different, because you're in an environment where the things that you was addicted to is not at your access. See? So it ain't just walking out your door and you can make $100 as soon as you get outside. You make $100 as soon as you get outside. See? You might walk outside where I went to, you might walk outside and see a goddamn deer, not a crackhead. Not somebody who wants some sour. So that train, it reprogrammed my mind. I had to now be smart and change what I do. And that shit is hard. It's hard to do that. But what I learned was that I was addicted to a lifestyle. And I incorporated that lifestyle into my life and put that at the forefront of my life. There was a time in my life where I was a drug dealer. Yes. With a college degree. Yeah, not your typical drug dealer who dropped out of school. No, I had a degree and was on the block. I had a degree and was OT. With a degree, fresh out of college, right out of town. Facts. These are facts. I'm going to build my business. Because that's what my first degree is in, business. My first degree is in business. So I went and got in business. I went and started doing business. You know, the real business that run all of this shit, but that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. See? So when we talking about addictions, this stuff is real. This stuff is for real. And it don't matter your income your income bracket. It don't matter how much money you have, man. It don't. Because when I was doing what I was doing, when I was doing the wrong thing, let me say this shit correctly. When I was doing the wrong thing, because I'm going to just stop saying when I was doing what I was doing, because it kind of come off like it was cool. That just came to my mind. That's why I corrected myself, because I don't want y'all to think, he was doing. No, that shit wasn't cool. When I was doing the wrong thing, right? I thought that was going to be my life. And I became addicted. And I had to go cold turkey to not be interested in doing that type of business anymore. You see? So a lot of the guys that, or in Rich Homie Quan's case, he developed an addiction to keep up with fame. Because fame is an addiction. Fame is an addiction. That's why I tell brothers, stay away from fame. It's an addiction. It's a demon. It's a demon. And this is how you get introduced to drugs like that. When you get introduced to it like that, the way he did, where you're not the seller, but you're the buyer, where you're the user. Because he was addicted to fame. He wasn't addicted to the money, because all the money went on his addictions. He was addicted to fame. He was addicted to selling all them records. He was addicted to making them people say, good job, boy. Good boy. He was addicted to that. And what came with that, he was addicted to. So he kept chasing it. Like the first time you get high and you ain't never been high, and you keep chasing that first high, that's what Rich Homie was doing. That's what Rich Homie was doing. Rich Homie was chasing fame. He kept trying to chase the fame that came from make you feel some type of way. He was chasing that. And he thought that Molly was going to get him another one of those. He thought that Molly was going to get him another type of way, and it did. And he kept making hits, and he kept making hits, and he kept making hits until he crashed. Until he crashed. Because that's what them drugs do. That's what them drugs do. At some point, you're going to crash. And Rich Homie crashed, chasing that white horse. And he crashed. He thought the more Molly he did, the more hits he was going to write, the more famous he was going to stay, the bigger he was going to be. And he crashed. Crashed. Shot says, even when you overcome an addiction, in one aspect, be wary of developing in another one it happens. Exactly, Shots. Exactly, Shots. That's what happened with Rich Homie. Rich Homie didn't know that he was addicted to fame, that's why he developed a Molly addiction. Because he was addicted to fame. Make sure y'all go and watch that Math Hoffa video that he put out, saluting Rich Homie Quan. Because in that interview, he said it. He said the Molly made my music better. I put out more music. I was able to stay up and do more. But do more what, Rich Homie? Do more what? You didn't see what it was doing to you? And he talked about it. He said he didn't know what it was doing to him until he realized one day when he started having withdrawals, when he didn't have the Molly. Champ says, are you sure he crashed or did he get crashed? Question. That is a lot of question marks behind that, Champ. It's a lot of that going on right now too. Because they also was trying to say that Rich Homie, got addicted because people was running around Atlanta saying he was a snitch and everybody cut him off. So Molly became his best friend. But I'm gonna go off what he said in the Math Hoffa interview, where he clearly stated that it was to help him better his music and to put out more music. But that's a good question, champ. And that is a question floating around. Did he crash or did he get crashed? Especially with the story I heard his girl told. That story she told is extremely questionable. Extremely questionable. Gain one to lose one. Yep. What up, Bob? Shout out to my man Bob in the building. Suki Hana talked about dudes using perks for Perky D. Yeah, she did talk about that. She did talk about that. She liked niggas who pop perks. She said that. You right about that, Bob. Sexy Red do too. They buy they niggas perks to do it to them. They said it in the song. They buy they niggas perks just to have sex with them. So you got dudes popping perks like it's Viagra. You got dudes popping perks like Viagra because of what Suki Hana and Sexy Red said. They buy they niggas perks. They sure did. Shout out to my man Kwafi. What up, Kwafi? Boy, that drug will make a man compromise his sex. It's powerful. We ain't even get the thug yet. You talking about Thug and Lil Uzi in them, because they popped them perks too. They on Molly's too. Yeah. It's powerful, man. Because it's chemicals. And a lot of us, Kwafi, don't understand the human brain and our psyche. You know, all that's in our brain is chemicals. A lot of the mental illnesses is because of chemical imbalances in the brain. This stuff is chemicals, man. Remember I did the show with Ghostface and how he found out that he was schizophrenic because he was smoking dust. He was smoking crack. He was smoking crack and weed. And then them schizos get to acting up and he get to hearing them voices. He don't even know that those chemicals in those drugs combined with the chemicals in his brain have him hearing voices. Demons. This stuff is for real, man, and it's all scientific. It's not hocus pocus. It's not religious. It's reality. It's scientific. It's scientific, dog. It's science. It's science. It's not hocus pocus. This is real life. It's real. I said before, he had a song called 34 and died at 34. Wow. I didn't even know that, AC. And I see you grad says, don't ride the white horse. You know, that's interesting. Y'all call it the white horse. You know what? When I was growing up, they used to say that that person was on the midnight train. They riding that train. They riding that train. That's what I used to hear. They riding that train again. Oh, he out there on that train. The drug train. That's another word for binging. When you go on a drug binge, back in the day, they used to call it the train. Oh, that boy done left home. We ain't seen him in 3 days. Oh, he on that train. He on that train. Remember that, Shots? Oh, he on that train. He ain't been home. His girl can't find him. He ain't answering his phone. He on that train. He on that train. He's somewhere sitting up smoking 3 or 4 8 balls. He on that train. He on that train. Shot says, I seen dope fiends get clean and become addicted to acquiring things like jewelry, clothes, and cars. At the same time, zeal and compulsion. Facts. 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 You talking about them old school, hustlers. Because that's what happened to them. You right. A lot of them big time old school hustlers from back in the day who had a little habit and then they end up getting locked up and cleaning up and all that. They come home and they be just like what Shots is talking about. They be just like that. They be just like that. Kwafi says addiction is a process entering that world, which at times is not an easy progress to get out. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is crazy, Bucket. It is crazy, bro. This shit is crazy. And it's so crazy that a lot of people don't believe that it be real. That's why everybody questions everything now, Bucket. Because it's like you have to question reality because of it's so crazy out here today. The stuff that happens is like, what? What? Look at all the stuff we've been hearing, man. Look at the stuff we've been hearing. This year alone, in the entertainment world, more entertainers have died from drug overdose than gun violence. More young rappers, young entertainers died from overdoses than being killed. Look it up. Look it up. Y'all don't notice? Y'all don't notice that? Y'all don't notice that? Enchanting. What's the dude before her that was down with Gucci Man with her? Big Scar. Come on. ODing. All these rappers overdosing. Overdosing. Yeah, man. Them old school guys. I know exactly who you're talking about. Shots. Superstar, but he didn't get far. Midnight Train to Georgia. Yep. You're on that midnight train. Kwafi says a lot of them mimic a lot of the very young stars who lived back in the day who died young. And this is a pattern. Absolutely. I agree with that. Del Diddy says, we don't realize we're not nourishing our bodies with enough vitamins and minerals to produce the proper level of healthy chemical reactions, or an organ is over or under producing certain chemicals. Absolutely. That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. Do you know, my brother Del Diddy, that most people look at our bodies in compartments? We don't understand that our bodies work interconnected. All of our systems in our body is interconnected. That's why we're one organism. You see? All the systems work, they interwork with each other. That's why the medical logo is like this. It's a spiral. See, that's why it's like this, because this is how each system, your digestion system works, it works together with your respiratory system. Your endocrine system works directly with your digestive system. All this stuff works together. It's holistic. We don't understand that because a lot of us forgot a lot of the shit that we learned in school. You know, a lot of us do. The only way they feel to stay young, and I mean forever young, is to die young. And that's the way they stay young. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Kwafi. You're right. I remember that Jay-Z song, Forever Young. Shout out to Bucket. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, appreciate the message, DS1. We all needed this. Salute, fam. I appreciate that. Drugs now has fentanyl in it. Facts. Facts, NICU grad. Facts. We did a show, I believe, last year where I spoke on how all the drugs have fentanyl in it now. Because, and that's from the cartels. The cartels is poisoning the work and sending it out to the neighborhoods, to the streets, to the hoods to kill us because they want to stop selling drugs. You see? The only drugs that they want to be sold now is prescription drugs. All the drugs will be sold behind a counter and it will have a barcode on it. So this is why they poisoning all the street work. All of the black market shit, they're poisoning it. Because they're like, oh, these people don't want to stop selling it. We'll kill them. That's the government for you. And you know the cartels work with the government, just in case y'all didn't know. The cartels work with the government. They all work with the government. All the big time dudes. Y'all did watch Power, right? They showed you in Power. Didn't Ghost snitch on his connect to free himself? They show you. Wasn't Ghost paying off cops? They show you. This is the game. So now what they're doing is they're saying they don't want us selling drugs anymore. They want to clean that shit up. So the cartels is poisoning the work. They're putting fentanyl in everything. That's why the drugs are so cheap. So the young boys could go and grab it. Oh, it's only $60 for an ounce of Zaza? Yeah, it got fentanyl on it. Got fentanyl on the weed. Sprinkles. I'm not buying nothing that's called sprinkles because I know what's sprinkled on it. Come on, man. We got to pay attention to what's going on out here, fellas. I'm telling you. Because you'll end up a victim. Like Rich Homie Quan. Because it's looking like he was a victim. It's questioned that he OD'd. Some people are saying that he might have, deleted himself because supposedly he was clean. This is why I told you I go watch the Mav Hoffa interview. Because in the Mav Hoffa interview, he said he was clean. He ain't touched Molly in 5 years. He said all he did was smoke weed. What up, Mo Facts? Salute, Mo. Right? This is what he said in the interview. Go and watch it on Mav Hoffa show. He said he didn't do Molly in 5 years. He clean. And he said what really made him stop is he started to notice how he was treating people around him. He was treating his children messed up. He was treating his mother messed up. He said this. Mo says, they're culling the undesirables. There will be no more old addicts. Good point. Point, Mo. Just like they used COVID to get rid of some older cats too. You right. What up, King Ra? Salute to King Ra in the building. Same thing with the weed. They locked up people for it for decades now. There are dispensaries all over the country. Absolutely. Absolutely. Get down and lay down. That's how they giving it up. Get down and lay down. Get down or lay down. Straight up. Shout out to OK with the super sticker. I appreciate that, OK. But this stuff is crazy, man. With our addictions as men, we really need to start assessing the things that we're addicted to and why. And why. And why. Why do you think you're addicted to it? Look, start researching on what does it mean to be addicted to this? What's the meaning behind being addicted to sugar? What is the meaning behind being addicted to sour stuff, hot stuff? What does all of that mean? What does it mean? Because we need to do something about this, fellas. This is getting out of hand. And it's only going to get worse. It's time to leave the pills alone, man. Address your childhood trauma. I just was saying this on Facebook. Address your childhood trauma, because that's why we get caught up in that lifestyle. On top of the environment. So on top of the environment that we come from, right? It's the trauma that we've been through that make us run toward drugs, run toward alcohol. And some of us don't understand this. And when you have generations and generations and generations of that in your bloodline, understand that you may have an addictive personality or an addiction to those things if you are predisposed to certain trauma. See, you may not know that you come from a long line of alcoholics, but you became an alcoholic due to a traumatic situation. And because that stuff is in your DNA, it took that traumatic incident to unlock it. Now you can't stop drinking Hennessy. Now you can't stop drinking Hennessy. And now you 15 years down the line and you don't know why. You just know that you need some goddamn Hennessy. And if you don't have it, somebody gonna have a problem. That's all you know. See? You don't know the real reason why you like Hennessy is because when you was a little boy and your grandfather died, you was so sad, you was crying and you wasn't feeling too good, and a friend of the family came up to you and said, "What's wrong? You all right? Huh, take a little sip of this. It'll make you feel better." Doesn't that sound familiar to some of y'all? Huh, take a little bit of this. This'll make you feel better. You won't think about it after this. Baby. Give you a little sip of Hennessy. Give you a little sip of E&J brandy. Little sip of Remy Martin. There you go. You don't even know that that's why you like Remy Martin. You don't even know that. You don't even remember that. That was 30 years ago. You don't remember. You don't even remember that lady. You don't even remember that. It's going to take you to go to therapy to remember. See, because a therapist know how to professionally pull things out. And next thing you know, you'll be remembering that time when your grandfather died and that woman came and let you sip out her cup. That's why you need to go to therapy, brothers. I'm telling y'all, when I talk to my therapist, things be coming back to my mind that I forgot a long time ago. A long time ago. It's just the way the conversation goes. You're going to notice how you're going to feel more comfortable, and you're going to begin to release that stuff. And as you release, revelation is going to come. Things are going to start being revealed to you while you crying, while you letting that stuff out. Now you're going to start remembering. And it's going to make you cry harder. Remember how DMX got addicted to crack? Remember his story. One of the OGs that he looked up to in the neighborhood gave him some crack. Yeah. It took DMX 20-some years to admit that. One of his OGs that he looked up to turned him to a crackhead. These are facts. Turned him to a crackhead. The first time he ever smoked crack was with one of his OGs. See that? See? Shot says we have leave the government weed alone for sure. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's a that's a fact. NyQuil in a baby bottle to keep him from getting on your nerves. There you go, Coffee. There you go, Coffee. There you go. And that shit could kill that baby. But people think it won't hurt him till the baby don't wake up. Shout out to Larry Vaughn in the building. He said, salute DS1 and peace to the chat. This stuff is for real, man. Rest in peace to rich homie Quan, man. This is just a sad situation, man. And I really think that he relapsed. He relapsed because he probably realized that his career is over. His career is over, man. And that's bothering him. And he didn't know how to move on. He didn't know how to bounce back. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to do it. He didn't, all he knew was hip hop. All he knew was rap. And, I'm a rapper and this is who I am. And this is who I'm supposed to be. He never thought that rap shit could end. And it did for him. And he didn't know how to deal with it. Salute, AC. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, bro. That's what I think happened with a lot of those 1017 guys. With Enchanting, with Big Scar. They didn't realize that opportunity just dried up. You had an opportunity at fame. You had your shot at fame. Coffee says, DS1, at what age do you think that a rap career should stop? I think a rap career should stop at 30. 30 years old. 30. After that, you should be moving on from rap and doing something real with your life and taking your money and investing it into something that's going to change how things go on every day. I say 30. And I'm saying that for the people who are successful. I'm not talking about the people who don't have no hits or nothing. I'm talking about the successful people. 30. Yep, and he left 4 children behind. 4 boys, I believe. I think he had 3 boys and 1 girl, I think, or 4 boys, either one. But he did leave 4 children behind. A little Henny on the baby's pacifier. Exactly. They used to do that back in the 90s. Dip it in beer, put it right in the baby mouth. You sleep in 5 minutes. Sleep in 5 minutes. Then the boy grow up and be a goddamn alcoholic and you don't know why. This is sad, man. It's really sad, man. But fellas, as I always say, man, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build, brothers. Heal before we build, man, because a lot of us don't know just how much we're suffering internally, and we don't understand our triggers. We don't understand how deeply scarred we may be. And a specific incident can happen in any one of our lives, and we just go off on a deep end, and we don't come back. See, it could have just been Rich Homie having a bad day, and he needed to relapse. And he went back that last time, and he just didn't come back. Because that's what happens. I had a homeboy that I grew up with in Virginia. Rest in peace to him, man. I grew up with his older brother. Me and my cousin grew up with his older brother. His older brothers, excuse me. He was one of the youngest. And he got addicted to them pills, man. He got addicted so bad, his family put him in rehab. He did the rehab and everything. Came out, wasn't having a good day one day, went and bought him a pill. He died, killed him. He went and relapsed. They found him dead in the backyard. They found him dead, man. He was about 30 years old. Like I said, me and my cousins grew up with his older brothers. Yeah, man. Went to rehab and everything. That's what I think happened with Rich Homie Quan. He just wasn't having a good day, and he needed something that he knew would make his goddamn light, that will make his goddamn day brighten up, that will turn the lights on for him. He knew what it was. And he relapsed, and it killed him, y'all. It killed him. Addiction is real. I told y'all about another homeboy that I just lost recently. Another guy that I grew up with my cousin. These are my cousin friends from Virginia. So I grew up in VA too. I had my years of growing up in VA just like I grew up in New York. He just died from cancer. But for years, he was on crack. This dude was our age. He grew up selling crack and became addicted. He died, man. That shit gave him cancer. He just died, man. 38 years old, dead as an addict. Me and this dude grew up arguing, always about to fight each other. My cousin homeboy. So when I talk about this stuff, it's not for entertainment purposes, man. It's because I'm familiar with this stuff and it's real. It's real to me. Addiction is real in my family. Addiction has been around all around me my whole life. Addictions to all types of stuff. Not just drugs, not just alcohol. What about sex? What about food? What about violence? What about anger? What about rage? See, those can be addictions too. Those are addictions too. Addiction is real, fellas. We need to pay attention. To pay attention, man. Right. You can become addicted to validation. That's surrounding fame. Yep. Food. Absolutely, Young Rez. Food. Dale Diddy says, I remember hitting a low in life, living away from my hometown and speaking to one of my boys. He told me I had become bloodthirsty from not living in an environment that called for violence. Wow. That's real. You can become addicted to that. Hey, Brownie, how you doing? Happy birthday to you, Brownie. Y'all wish Brownie a happy birthday. Absolutely, Young Reyes. Medicine is drugs. Medicine is drugs. Toxic individuals. Yep. Cynical said it. Relationships, toxic relationships. You can be addicted to toxicity because you're toxic. Yeah. You can't be addicted to that. You can be addicted to your phone. You can be addicted to your phone. You're welcome, Brownie. That's what you think that was, Coffee? You think that was jealousy? I think he was putting them on, just telling them what he saw. How he saw his homeboy change. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was jealousy, Coffee. I think he was putting Dale on to some shit. Like, yo, bro, you not the same cat no more. You know, you turned into something else. You know what I'm saying, Coffee? You know, especially when you know your homeboys, you know when your homies change. You know when they get on some other type of stuff that they never was on. You could see it. You could see it. You could see it. Because he was in an environment that created that in him. You know, and that happens to a lot of guys in the hood that grew up in the hood. They get like that because it's like either I'm going to take things to the extreme so nobody mess with me, or I'm going to run the risk of somebody violating me or trying to. So you got some guys that just be like, let me just go ahead and get you on out the way. You know, let me just go ahead and take it to the extreme so it could just be over with. You know? Because a lot of people don't expect you to do that. They don't expect you to take it to the extreme. A lot of times people do shit to see what you're going to do. But when you're known for doing that, people know not to play with you. Brownie says, the need to always want to be on edge. Right. That's an addiction too. Anger, rage. Facts. Absolutely. People who went through a lot, people who went through a lot, who are addicted to toxicity because that's what they're used to. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like being around drugs, just like using drugs. You know, that's what a lot of us was exposed to. And again, like I said earlier in the show, it wasn't like we were encouraged by people in our environment to do it. Of course, everybody experienced peer pressure, but that's from your peers. But, you know, it was there, man. It was there. We saw it. It was celebrated, and we copied it. You know, we copied it. It's just what it was, man. Dale says, I was born and raised in Fayetteville. Over time, I allowed that place. Okay, I guess you got to finish what you were saying, bro. But shout out to everyone. I appreciate everyone for pulling up to today's show. I definitely want to give my take on this Rich Homie Quan situation. You know, rest in peace to that brother, man. This is another sad situation that us brothers can learn from and say, man, we need to stay away from fame. We need to focus on our families. You know, we need to stay close with God, man. Stay close with God. Keep our health up, our mental and our physical health, and focus on our families, man. Because this culture that we in is destroying everything. It's destroying everything, man. Y'all don't notice how everything they get you to question is about what's good for you? You don't notice how they get you to question the truth now. But you don't even question a lie. And that's how you can easily begin the programming of manipulation and addiction. See, a person who can't think for themselves and think properly can easily be manipulated, which can lead to addiction. So, fellas, you got to get it together, man. Remember, we got to heal before we build out here. All this shit that we see on TV, it don't mean nothing, man. Rich Homie Quan just died over fame, man. Allegedly. Just died over fame. Because he couldn't take not being Rich Homie Quan no more. Just like we know a lot of dudes who fell off in life when they wasn't cool like they was cool in high school no more. Addictions, man. Let's get help, fellas. Shout out to everyone. I appreciate everyone for pulling up to today's show. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you support the show with a like and a share. Hit the like button, hit the share button as well. If you enjoyed today's show, the Cash App is going across the screen as well as the PayPal and the Venmo. You can support the show at Cash App. $ DS100 Network is going across the screen. Shout out to everyone who has hit the super chat as well. Shout out to everyone for all your financial support. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. We will be back with another show. Y'all stay tuned. I appreciate everyone for pulling up. If you were new here, make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. Shout out to all the visionaries. Salute to my lovely lady mods for coming through and holding it down. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.